So this person sent a message to like a specific like reporting off platform like terrorist behavior or whatever to Twitch. They're like, I'm so tired. While we're at it, I had to do some digging to find out how to do this, but it turns out you can report a channel for off-site behavior. And one of the specific violations is leadership, membership, or sponsorship of a known hate group. Send an email to osit@twitch.tv with those exact words. Hey, Anna Valens, and whoever the fuck that person is, you want to get eyes on this? Brother, I am a cartoon fox woman. I am not a leader or a member or sponsoring any kind of hate groups. I got fucking mythic talent, which, I mean, I guess if you think Asmongold is a Nazi could count as a hate group, but that'd be weird because of how many, like, fucking people that they have under their umbrella. I was like, what? The Laura person is Anna Valens 2.0. How the fuck do you guys know who these weird Bluesky people are? I hesitate to use the word people, but, you know. Shondo just joined Mythic too. Fucking amazing pickup, unironically. I hope she has as good of a time with her Mythic manager as I do mine. Mine's a fucking bro. Love that guy. And then they posted the full email here, where they said the message to which Twitch, owned by the most profitable company in the world, is replying. And they sent to Twitch, my Twitch link is currently engaged in a targeted harassment campaign against Anna Valens, a journalist who reported on her sympathizing with Nazis openly. So their first sentence is not only just outright lying, but also Anna Valens was starting the harassment campaign against me, right? Like, it was already happening on Twitter, but it was just seething V-tweeters who didn't fucking matter, and I could just ignore, and my sponsors could just ignore, and nobody fucking cared about. But now Anna Valens decided to make some Vice articles, which I got taken down, which it's really weird how many of these fucking freaks have been saying, oh, why can't these Nazis just stand on their beliefs? Why do they have to play with lawfare? Like, this isn't even real. You don't have a case. Vice just doesn't want to spend money on it. Brother, I don't think you understand the disparity in the amount of money that Vice has versus the amount of money I have. If this wasn't like a fucking slam dunk, first of all, a lawyer wouldn't have taken it on. Second of all, I wouldn't have been able to threaten a cease and desist because I wouldn't have had the money to put where my mouth is. Unfortunately for Vice, this would have been a slam dunk case, which is why the articles have been taken down. Oh god, they really should not have opened this Pandora's box. It's fucking actually insane to me. They brought this upon themselves. I was just like, I don't want other people getting death threats, right? And it's like, I don't know if Anna is. I haven't seen any actual death threats publicly. So maybe they're getting them the same way that I'm getting them. You know, it's potential. I was like, don't send death threats to people. But also, Anna, my dude, you fucking made those articles. You lied about me. You misconstrued things. I told my community to not harass people. And then you went to anonymous image boards that also hate me and cherry-picked things out of there. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. I was like, Asmongold platformed this. This came out of the VTuber bubble. This went mainstream. Normies were fucking telling my brother about how they saw articles about me. All right, okay? Like, the pushback you're getting, you cannot attribute to me. It has breached your containment zone. Can I contact Twitch support and explain the campaign? I like warned my Mythic manager. I was like, hey, I think there's going to be a mass reporting campaign against me soon, and here's a bunch of evidence as to why I think that. And he's like, oh, I mean, I guess if you start getting reported, we can talk to our Twitch contact. And I was like, okay. And then I woke up and I was banned. Or like it happened in the middle of the night or some shit. I can't remember, but like later that night I was banned and I was like, well, fuck. Next time we'll have to actually get in front of this. Wait, where were you banned from? I got a 24-hour ban on Twitch because reading Anna Valens fanfiction is on par with terroristic threats. What's funny is that my situation fits with Chad Crowley's take on Hendrix. I broke the script and did not bow down. Well, yeah, like that's what these people want. They want to see you fucking broke and dead is what they want. And I'm not going to give them what they want. I am going to be powered through spite. I might not have the giga autism like Null does because I'm a woman, but like, you know, I'll try my best. Supporting hate groups on Twitter, and it's just you sending Asmon pics of the ceiling, Kirsche. supporting hate groups on Twitter, and it's just me posting about how much I want to live in Asmongold's attic. What are the chances of me getting banned on Twitter due to a mass report like Riri? I don't know. I feel like I would have gotten banned already if mass reports on Twitter were working. I also feel like if mass reports... Right, I don't know how Riri Gaki got banned from a mass report, because, like, there are way more people who, like, should get banned who don't, and I'm sure have gotten reported a million times. She's been under fire since March? That would have been the time she'd get false reported? Yeah. Like, for people just now tuning in, this harassment campaign against me has been happening since fucking March. Anna wrote the articles when I went on vacation in April. But, like, prior to that, seething Twitter freaks had been trying to get gamer subs to drop me. So, like, it's been going on for a while. Looking into the case of Riri, she has attracted the gaze of several French Antifa groups who have quite a bit of political power in France, as long as physically accosting her when she went to a con this year. Jesus fucking Christ. She has some absolutely insane... Is she just like me, for real, for real? Hopefully she has friends who can scurry her away to an underground bunker like I do. Because, fuck, that is scary as well. This is not what you imagined back in the days of hashtag not your shield. Now Kirsche's our tank. She might not want it, but she is. So support her, heal the shit out of her, or else we might wipe. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like being the tank. I like being the heal slut, but you know, I guess if you guys are heal slutting for me, I can be the tank. I hope this is enough to at least start an investigation. If more specific evidence is needed, I can provide it in response to specific questions. Thank you for your time and consideration. I like how this person is saying, like, if more specific evidence is needed, they can provide it. Provide what? You fucking freak. You know nothing about me. It seems I can't ping Twitch on Bluesky. How about tomorrow morning I send a rather sternly worded tweet? Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna work. rin.bluesky.lgbt. Yeah, I'm sure your sternly worded tweet is going to convince them that I'm some kind of terrorist apparatus. Fucking holy shit. Take your meds. Take your meds, schizo retard.
Everybody, don't forget your meds. Ha!
24-year-old Australian woman set friend on fire for making misogynistic remark. That seems like the appropriate reaction. An Australian woman, oh god, she has them fucking senpaku eyes, holy shit. She looks like she's gonna unhinge her jaw and fucking eat you. Jesus Christ, jump scare. White woman jump scare. An Australian woman allegedly lit her longtime friend on fire because he made a misogynistic remark during a wild night of partying, a court heard earlier this month. Corby Jean Walpole, 24, pleaded guilty in an Albury District Court to the arson attack on Jake Loader, 23, saying she felt overwhelmed by his antagonistic behavior throughout the night before she was finally set off by a sexist remark he made during a house party in New South Wales last year, according to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. Loader told Walpole she should stay in the kitchen making scones if she couldn't handle drinking with the boys, which sent the 24-year-old into a rage, the court heard, according to the outlet. She grabbed a gallon of gasoline from the garage and doused Loader with the flammable substance, waving a lighter at him threateningly. "Go on, do it," Loader yelled at his friend, who was drunk and had consumed cocaine. She confessed! Literally a crime boss party, holy shit. Also, if you've already been doused in gasoline, I feel like you shouldn't be egging on the brain-damaged, mentally ill woman with a lighter, right? Like, I feel like you might want to disengage, honestly. What the fuck did the friend say? You have a feeling the remark was the last straw? He said that she should stay in the kitchen making scones. He literally made a surface level, like, go back to the kitchen joke from 2002. I can't numbers. And she got so mad she lit him on fire. Walpole then touched him with the lighter, setting him ablaze, according to the testimony. Loader sustained burns to 55% of his body and had some of his sweat glands burned off. He was put in a medically induced coma for 8 days after the attack, according to a victim impact statement read in court. He required 10 operations and spent 74 days in a burn unit at a Melbourne hospital, according to the statement. Once again, chat, if an insane woman douses you with gasoline and starts threatening you with a lighter, please don't go all macho and ask her to do it. Please retreat to live to see another day and not incur 55% of your body being graciously burned. All right, okay? 55% of his body is a really big deal. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely fucked. The friend cannot step outside into the sun because of the extensive epidermal damage, the statement said. Walpole told the court that she had been abusing drugs and alcohol since a breakup in 2022 and regretted the heartless act. I just don't believe that for a single fucking second. If someone saying go back to the kitchen is enough to get you to set them on fire, like, you need to be put in an institution for the safety of other people. Like, you cannot be trusted on your own recognizance at any point in time. I've gone through some pretty bad fucking breakups and I did not resort to abusing drugs, alright, okay? The firebug. Why would you call her a firebug? Why would you give her like this cute little nickname for setting a man on fire and burning over 55% of his body? Like, can we please? Can we not? During the trial, that she was pushed to the edge by Loader, who tried to wrestle with her and was being continuously antagonistic throughout the night, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported. If he was trying to wrestle with her, that would be like a physical assault kind of thing. So, like, I just don't believe that, because she would have led with that statement if that had actually happened. To this day, I feel horrible, remorseful, guilty for what I've done to Jake, not only to Jake, but his family, his loved ones, his mutual friends, anyone who's been impacted in this entire case, Walpole told the court, according to the outlet. I find it very hard to believe the injuries that were caused was from my doing, Walpole added, saying, I would do anything to go back in time. I find it hard to believe the injuries that were caused were from my doing. Women and accountability are like oil and water, dude. Holy shit. She pleaded guilty to one charge of burning or maiming by using corrosive fluid, the ABC reported, and Walpole is due back in court this month for sentencing. Of course she makes this about herself, man. Fire burns people. Insert Cher song here. Which one? You doused him in gasoline and set him on fire? Yeah, like, this was multiple steps of premeditation, man. Come the fuck on. We got another OnlyFans whore who decided that she wanted to fuck hundreds of men. But I guess unlike the other OnlyFans whores who were able to do like 1,000 dudes in a day or whatever, this one wasn't up to the task and got hospitalized. I was like, I don't know, man. Where do you find 583 men to participate in this? That is a great question. Right? Like, we all focus on how much of a disgusting whore the women who do this are, but what about how disgusting the men are? Like, why would you want to be in a 583-man lineup to drop your goop in a puddle of other goop? Like, that just seems like a bad fucking time, man. She even got a special whore hospital gown. That's true. Why is she wearing a whore gown? Why isn't this the regular hospital gown? You get used to it. 583 isn't a record anymore, so what's even the point? That's disgusting. I hate that that's true. Annie Knight has been admitted to the hospital after a challenge during which she slept with 583 men in a single day. Yeah, and you had to get hospitalized and you didn't even break the record. This is probably just like an OnlyFans ad, and I'm reading it because it's disgusting, and hopefully you guys find it disgusting instead of looking her up after this. The 27-year-old OnlyFans star, dubbed Australia's most sexually active woman. Well, I mean, she's not that sexually active if it's only 583. I mean, we've read multiple women doing over 1,000 at this point, so, like, I'm not really impressed anymore. All right, like, the parking garage that is your vagina doesn't have enough capacity for me to be impressed by how much you've done here. The fact that you got hospitalized actually makes you just worse than the other whores, if we're being honest. Her vulva were weak. Oh my god, it's fine. Shared a video from her hospital bed on Wednesday after rushing in to be treated for cramps and excessive bleeding, just days after taking part in the filmed orgy on Sunday. Knight says that the issue stems from her pre-existing endometriosis, I can't pronounce that word, which she said had been triggered by stress. On Sunday, everything will all be good, but the next day I had a lot of bleeding, and I shouldn't really have because I'm on contraception, and I was a little bit worried about it, but I decided I would wait it out and see how it goes, she tells Perth Now. Fun fact, even on contraception, you still get your period occasionally, right? Like, it's just instead of getting 12 periods a year, you might get, like, between 1 and, like, 6, maybe? Right? Like, it's drastically less, but it still happens sometimes. 3D PD females will never stand up to the level of anime girls. Never. There's no point to OnlyFans. You'll never understand the appeal. I agree. If you really need to watch porn on occasion, right, consume it occasionally. Do not become a gooner, but also... the animated pornography is just better. There's more of a line divide between fiction and reality, unless you go into the Doomer Coomer route and you start watching Fuda, in which case, I'm sorry, you're lost forever. You will never fuck a real woman. There's so much junk out there. What is on this girl's bingo card? Great question. Then it turned into really bad cramps and pains. Then I started to get a bit worried and decided to take myself to the hospital. Why she look like an alien, chat? Why do all these Zoomers either look like fish people or aliens? Can someone explain this to me? I just like... She does. I'm confused. Knight added that her doctors were at first concerned the bleeding and pain was a result of her intense challenge, but later ruled that out. Well, then why the fuck is this even an article? Why would you have an article title about her being hospitalized after fucking 583 men and then in the article say, but actually, it has nothing to do with that? This literally is just an advertisement for her OnlyFans. We ran a bunch of tests that day, and then eventually it was my endometriosis that had been exacerbated by mostly stress, and not so much the physical challenge that I did on Sunday. It was exacerbated by stress, you say? The stress of knowing that your soul is eternally damned because you had sex with over 550 men in one day? That you've lost a part of your soul that you can never get back, and that you have become an object, a receptacle, no longer human? Endometriosis occurs when cells in the lining of the uterus are found elsewhere in the body. Each month, these cells react in the same way as those in the uterus, building up, breaking down, and bleeding. Yet, the blood has no way to escape the body. Symptoms include pain, heavy periods, and fatigue, as well as higher risk of infertility and bowel and bladder problems. You know, not that I would wish endometriosis on anyone, but I feel like if anyone should have a higher risk of infertility, it's someone willing to fuck hundreds of men in one day. I feel like that's probably a good thing for humanity on the whole. Its cause is unknown, but may be genetic, related to problems with the immune system, or exposure to chemicals. The treatment focuses on pain relief and improving quality of life, which may include surgery or hormone treatment. Knight was also in the hospital with a mystery ailment just a month ago. Chet Alvino? She doesn't even look like a real person here, man. It looks like she's in a jail cell and that she's possessed. Like, I'm about to watch, like, a fucking trailer for a horror movie. I mean, I guess the way I say horror works in both cases, in this case. Being hospitalized after taking 583 men in a day was not on my 2025 bingo card. So she's even saying that, even though it has nothing to do with that. At the time, she looked unwell as she lay in a bed in a photo shared by her fiancé, Henry Brayshaw. Chat, all you men in my chat right now, I just want you to know that no matter how down on yourself you feel, no matter how, like, pathetic you might feel in moments of weakness when you're, like, beating up yourself, you will never be as pathetic as one Henry Brayshaw. You will never be as bad or in as bad of a position. Your life will always be better than this man's. Get the chair! In the Instagram stories post, Annie wore a blue hospital gown and slept while surrounded by monitors. Wonder where the life support switch is, Henry joked in the caption alongside the image. That's not a joke. That's not. That comes from a deep place inside of Henry that knows what's happening is wrong. That's his inner voice trying to speak sense into the situation. It was not explained by either Annie or Henry why the performer required the visit to the hospital. The couple only recently announced that they're set to marry after only 1 week of dating. Annie recently revealed the truth behind her shock engagement to her fiancé, Henry. The famous sex worker and her beau are set to walk down the aisle after Henry popped the question during a romantic dinner at the end of March. Appearing on the Kyle and Jackie O show, Annie admitted the pair's romance had only just got serious when Henry asked for her hand in marriage. The crazy bit about it is we've only been officially dating for a week, she told a shocked Kyle Sandilands and Jackie O. Henderson. I am just stunned at the levels of intelligence on display in this article. Like, whenever I think we have hit the rock bottom, it just drops a little bit more. These are the kinds of people that were parodied in Idiocracy and you just prefer not to think about existing in real life, because if they exist in real life, shit's gotten real bad. Get the feeling this is a paid promotion piece. Yeah, this feels like a paid promotion piece. I'm glad I'm disgusted by it, and hopefully you guys are too. That's probably why she's wearing like a special fucking whore jacket instead of the actual hospital gowns. Like, entirely fucking staged. I hate these people. That's just like the fucking like Amaranth shit with her husband and all of them arguing and whatnot and having these crazy scripted meltdowns on stream. You fooled me once, Amaranth. I thought you were good at acting because I've had abusive relationships, and so I felt, how would someone lie about this? I felt like I could believe you, but unfortunately you were proven to be a liar, and I will not believe any of your fake acting at this point, Amaranth woman. Someone dug a deep hole and threw a shovel down it. Why do they have really good warm temp lighting in a hospital room? That's also a nice point. Annie says that her engagement won't stop her from bedding hundreds of men before her wedding night. I don't think it'll stop her from bedding hundreds of men after her wedding night either. I'm gonna be real honest with you, actually. And it's just like, why? As a man, why would you want this? Like, I've seen the incredible cope on some podcasts where guys are like, yeah, I let my girl do OnlyFans. I don't mind when she fucks other guys because, like, at the end of the day, like, she's mine, you know? And it's like, it feels good knowing that, like, other men want her, but they can't have her, like, the way that I do. What do you mean, can't have her the way that you do? Because if she's fucking them, you don't have her in any other way that they don't. Well, like, what are you talking about, my guy? Speaking to dailymail.com about the happy news, Annie said that her fiancé is completely monogamous and faithful to her and is forbidden from sleeping with other women, but the same rules don't apply to her. Why are men like this? I actually knew someone who had a relationship like this, where like the guy was her fiance and was like so devoted to her that he was just like, I only want to fuck you, I don't want to fuck other people, but if you want to fuck other guys, like, that's completely fine, you can do that. I want you to be happy. I want like you to do anything that'll make you happy. And so when she described, like, she hated having sex with him, but he was like good emotionally, so she would like describe like when she let him have sex with her, that she would just be like texting people or playing games on her phone while he did it. And I was just like, this sounds like the unhappiest relationship on both sides. Why are you still together? Why are either of you still doing this? I don't understand. What is wrong with you? That makes you legit angry? Yeah, like, I just do not understand. You're sick now, but wait until you hear the AI reggae remix. Bombaclat! Cuck fetishes are weird and their relationships are very dysfunctional. It's like, I hate, like, whether it's the man or the woman asking for an open relationship or like even just putting it on the table. I think either way, it's just grotesque. A total lack of self-respect. Yeah, exactly. You never got the appeal of the woman doesn't even notice she's having sex fetish? I don't fucking know, man. You're suddenly even more understanding of MG Tao. I'm not, because this happens on the guy's end sometimes too. I'm not. There's shitty people everywhere. Don't let the shitty stories overpower you and get you to black pill. Not only did Annie have sex with 600 men last year, she's now got her sights set on doing 1,000 guys before the end of 2025, and says that wedded bliss with her husband-to-be isn't going to change a thing. He is super supportive, he's just the best, and he understands that I'm very work-oriented and that I enjoy my job. Yeah, I'm sure any fucking himbo I get with is gonna understand that I am a workaholic and I enjoy my job, but my job doesn't involve taking hundreds of dick from strange men instead of him! What the fuck? Is there no end to her cock hunger? Does he strap a board to his butt so he doesn't fall in? Jesus Christ. It's not cheating, it's my job. I hate it. We have 10 years of history. He knows me better than anyone, better than I even know myself. We've been through so much together, and the support and love that we have for each other is unmatched. He accepts me for who I am. This is so sad and gross and perverse. I feel sorry for this young woman. She needs Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with this top comment. If anyone on Earth needed Jesus, it's the two people in this fucking article. Holy shit. I don't know how much of this we'll have time to watch because I do need to keep the time in mind at this point. But I did want to watch a little bit of Trump's meeting with the president of South Africa because I feel like this was an incredibly important meeting. And I've seen like a bunch of clips on Twitter. I don't know how long the like full thing is, so we'll probably skip around a little bit. But I think it was incredibly important to showcase that a genocide is basically happening. And like Trump has talked about the Boer murders before, and like there have been a lot of people talking about like how Russia had offered asylum to Boers before. Canada and the US had declined to do that previously. Trump is now offering asylum to the Boers fleeing. So we have stuff actually happening, and it's crazy to me as well because part of what my crazy mentally ill harassers were trying to use against me was when I was using a South African YouTuber as well as government documents as a source for Africa implementing race-based land grabbing, where as a farmer, you are not allowed to have over a certain amount of water unless you sell part of your farmland to the African blacks in your country. And I felt like that was kind of insane. That was kind of insane and kind of crazy. And the fact that I would be attacked for just reading something that exists and is real is also insane and crazy. To be fair, you also don't trust the government documents very often. I mean, yeah, I don't trust government documents, but like they wrote it down, right? Is this a full fucking hour? It might be. It might be.
Great honor to be with the President of South Africa, President Ramaphosa, and he is a man who is certainly in some circles really respected, other circles.
Krill, thank you for the Oshi
dollars. Like all of
dollars.
us, in all fairness, like all of us.
We all like that.
We also have a few of my friends. Ernie Els, a great golfer. He's a truly great golfer.
I can
Retief
probably
Lucen,
increase
who's
the
an
playback
other
speed
really,
here.
We call him really a great golfer too, Ernie, right? You two guys are fantastic. And we could add Gary to the group, Gary Player. What a group of golfers.
Oh, Gary, you smell so
There must be
good.
something in the water, right? It's something good. These two guys are
It's the water.
unbelievable.
It's the water, sir.
Yeah, Gary's Gary. And David Frost, also another one that I know is such a great one. Was he as good a putter as they say, David? He's a putter. He's a putting machine, right? But he's another one, so something very good about South African golf. And golf is still doing great in South Africa. And they have young players I hear coming up that are going to be very good. But it's an honor to have you here. And, my friend, it's an honor to have you, one of the greatest businessmen in South Africa and long beyond. Thank you for being here. It's very, very good honor. Appreciate it. So we're going to be discussing certain things. As you know, we have
Certain things, the
G20
foreshadowing.
is going to South Africa. When is that going to be?
In November.
In November.
Thereafter, I hand over to you. And
Yes, we have it next
You
year.
originated the G20, so I'll hand over later to you,
Right.
and then you lead the
That's
G20.
good. We're going
now.
to have it the following
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So we'll be discussing many things and some of the things you've been reading about in the papers and
Yes.
in the media. And I would say
Surely
look,
the Boer
president
refugees in the U.S. give South Africa what they want, whitey out of the country. There was actually, I can't remember which politician said it, but they were saying that like the Boers shouldn't be given refugee status because they're just escaping like consequences or some shit. I can't remember how it was worded, but I remember reading that on Twitter and I was just like, what the actual fuck? That is insane. That is an insane train of thought.
a truly respected man in many, many circles, and in some circles he's considered a little controversial. But we're going to be discussing some of the things that are taking place in South Africa and see if we can help.
little
And we want to
controversial.
help. And we've had a long relationship with South Africa. I have, because indirectly I have so many friends that live there. I have a lot of friends. I mean, these are famous guys, but I have a lot of friends that live
The
there. That are
musky
tremendous
man.
people. And we'll be discussing that. We'll have a nice conversation, and I really appreciate that you guys came along. It really helps us.
Fleeing
Blood
racial
process.
justice. Thank you.
But
That's
it
how
is
they
a great
worded
honor
it.
to have you, and I appreciate
Thank you,
called.
Sheila.
Called. I don't know where he got my number, but I picked up. He said, I want to come over and see you. That was my honor. Thank you very much for being here.
You're most welcome.
Thank you
Most
very
welcome.
much.
Well, thank you very much for welcoming us to this reformed White House. I've been here before, and it looks really fantastic. I must congratulate you.
Thank you.
But
It does
also
look
thank
beautiful.
you for allowing our delegation. This is a very mixed delegation that you've got. We've got people from government, my ministers. I've got someone from the trade union movement, who we really collaborate with, and from business as well, and our sporting legends. When I spoke to you, you said yes, come along and bring Gary Player, bring any else.
I love Gary!
I brought the two of them. Gary Player, I spoke to him, and he said, look, I'm getting on in my years, but wishes us luck in this discussion with you. So it's a real joy, and I'd also like to thank you for allowing your people to start discussions with us at the trade level. I mean, we are essentially here to reset the relationship between the United States and South Africa. We are long-standing partners in many, many ways. We've collaborated in many fields, in space issues, in energy, and in trade, and we therefore need to reset that, particularly in the light of some of the announcements that you made on trade and investment. So we want to advance more trade between the two of us, two countries, and our people now have been empowered by yourself and by myself to start engaging, and we hope that you will be able to fuel that engagement during our talks. And we also want to discuss
the heck is that ASCII art of?
How we promote further investment
Who dat?
in both countries. We've got about 22 companies from South Africa that have invested in the US. That's creating a number of jobs. And similarly, you've got almost 600 companies that have invested in South Africa, and some of them have been in South Africa for more than 100 years. That's true. So our links.
This is, you know, a little bit of a boring lead up, but I want to see how we get to the video, right, chat? Like I want to see the setup.
A range of issues, geopolitical, the work that you're doing to bring peace around the world. Ukraine and the Middle
Apartheid
East.
in reverse
So
is socially right, and justice for apartheid as the country devolves in part to cleansing the past tragedy with a worse tragedy that will economically kneecap South Africa for generations. That's a very weird mindset that they have.
On a number of issues. We've got critical minerals that you want to fuel the growth of your own economy and reindustrialize. So we have that on offer, including rare earth minerals. So all that combination of opportunity and the products that we buy from you, as well as what we sell to you, I believe makes up a really good and powerful relationship, which we need to strengthen, which we need to engender, and that is really what has brought us here. And we are really privileged to have, you know, great South Africans in the mix. As you said, you'd like to see them as well. And I brought you a really fantastic golf book. It weighs 14 kilograms, and it showcases the golf
flattery.
courses in our country. Johan Rupert wrote. Preface, so did
Trump is just
else.
letting him dig his
And I want
hole.
to showcase
That is also
golf
my
courses.
interview
You might
style.
remember when I spoke to you and we spoke about golf, you said I should start practicing. And I've started practicing, President, so I'm ready. But let me end just the introductory remarks by thanking you. You may not recall that 5 years ago I spoke to you during the COVID period.
Diggy hole.
And it was at a time when the whole world was going through a really cathartic moment. Right. And we asked for assistance, and you were able to assist us with respirators, and you kept to your word, and you delivered respirators to us. We didn't have as many in our country, and it really helped to help us deal with COVID. So I'm here also to say thank you, and to thank the people of America for having helped us.
Deadpool kid, thank you. You're not sure if the previous tip went through, but here's some more love. Thank you. It probably did. Stream Elements has just been really fucking broken for like weeks now. Binary Mind has been trying to get them to fix shit.
The respirator king. We started making them. Nobody had them. We had very few of them.
That's right.
But they were very helpful. But we sent 150, and I appreciated the letter. You wrote me a letter.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much for that. It really touched my heart after I spoke to you, and you delivered.
It's a great honor.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Any questions, please?
Mr. President, we welcome Afrikaner refugees here. Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protected status revoked?
Well, this is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs. They're drug dealers. So don't say that we didn't take them. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And we're doing record business on that. And we just won a big case. We're allowed to send back hundreds of criminals to Venezuela.
And I just want to bring this up again, because a lot of people seem to forget this. Cubans were a huge, like, protected asylum class in the U.S. for ages, because Cuba was and is under like a communist rule. And Cuba was a very dangerous place to be for a lot of Cubans. And so if Cubans could make it to American soil, they would be granted asylum status because they were fleeing a very oppressive government. And Obama ended the wet foot, dry foot policy that allowed Cubans to have asylum here, and also stated that Cubans would be returned to Cuba if they were coming here. Cubans are not the kind of immigrants that the Democrats want in the country, because Cubans tend to vote more Republican. They do not vote the right way. Therefore, they do not get their asylum status. Thanks, Obama. Cubans are based conservatives. They are. They fucking, during the Summer of Love nonsense, when people tried, like, bullying the Cuban sections in Florida, doing the same, like, you're gonna support Black Lives Matter or we're gonna come fuck up your shop, the Cubans were like, yeah, let's see you fucking try. Let's see you fucking Antifa sissies try. Oh, God. Rosie Bell, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raider. Small Cow Stampede. I give you the bitch, I'm a cow. I say moo. Thank you. Welcome, Raiders. Man, Cubans actually lived through communism? Yeah, absolutely. They know how fucking bad it is. And so it's like, there's never been an issue, in my mind, with Cubans seeking asylum status. And anyone that would have a problem with white South Africans seeking asylum status because they are quite literally being murdered and their murders are being endorsed by political parties, I think someone being against that kind of an asylum seeker has an agenda. And it seems very weird that you would be against something like that. Someone who would raid you deserves a follow. Yeah, right? Fucking coming in during all of this nonsense stuff. I don't think I'm following Rosie on Twitch, so I should do that. Following her on Twitter. I haven't been anywhere on Twitch recently. Kirsche viewers waiting on the Florida coast with binoculars and extra 1911 and a flower. Yeah, exactly. Every Cuban gets a Kirsche to help acclimate them to the American life. It's a very anti-white agenda. Don't forget the ANC is a Marxist socialist party. Don't like that stance on things, obviously. Your female friend was born in Soviet Siberia. Oh, holy shit. 25% isn't a minority party, as South African president states. This is a minority group in the country. Your mother and father went to South Africa in 2010. Whatever they got in a taxi, they'd hear all kinds of horror stories about white tourists and residents being dragged from taxis and killed. Scumbags set up roadblocks so taxi drivers have to know the roads like the back of their hands. Yeah, that happened to, I don't think it was in South Africa, but the most recent one I can think of was there was a couple who had like a tour guide as well. In I can't remember which African country it was, but I don't think it was South Africa.
Spicy cat raid.
There was a couple that was there, and they even had like a local tour guide, and they still got roadblocked and ambushed, and she got raped, and all of them got murdered, including the tour guide. You ever notice that the immigrants fleeing communism never advocate for it? Yeah, weird. How do these people not understand not to go there? It's something that you have to understand how dangerous it is if you go. Henlo Raiders, the fakest of news.
On that today in the Supreme Court, I'm happy to hear. But we do have a lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting.
You're not a political sort, but you're a grown adult and a reasonable person. You advocate for being able to speak about things and to be kind to people as people. Absolutely. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Rosie. If I ever find myself in a position to raid you after my stream ends, I'll be sure to whip my boys and tell them not to be political in your chat. I don't appreciate when people go to non-political streamers and say political shit in their chat. I know. Gotta make them understand so they act like normal humans. Their kids often do. A surprising amount of Persian Americans support Iran, even though they were born there because their ancestors fled in 1979. Mia Khalifa was born to a Maronite Christian family and supports Hezbollah. That seems really fucking weird. Rosie, she spanks us if we get out of line. Some of them like the spanking, but still don't act up. Ed Song, thank you! You saw a South African home invasion clip on a YouTube channel. The only thing that saved the one family is a vertical bar fence separating the bedrooms from the foyer. Something from a horror film. Yeah, I've seen the videos as well where they have like special locks on like multiple doors on the inside, as well as grating, so that even if people come and ransack and break into their house, they still have barriers to protect themselves from. I could not imagine living in a house with like special metal barricades at my front door and then like on other inner doors in my house, like bedrooms and shit. Like, that's scary. That's scary, man. Rosie Bell's such a sweetheart, just like the Foxu. Yeah, we just want to fucking chill, man.
See how that turns out. but we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that. It's it's a kind of a different meeting. Normally we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things. But that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Brian?
thank you very much. I'd like to get your thoughts on Letitia James, Director Polte. According to him, Letitia James says that the alleged mortgage fraud was simply a mistake. Want to get your thoughts on that? She put down that her father was her husband.
I feel like if you're in a meeting with a foreign country's leader and you're talking about things specific to that foreign country, and then a reporter just asks you something completely unrelated, they should just get kicked out. Like, not only do you not answer their question, but you're like, get him out of here. He's not here to be serious. Get him out.
And this is very similar to, I guess, the false attacks they had on you.
Well, I don't know what it is currently, but Letitia James, who's the Attorney General of New York State, it seemed, I'm not involved in that at all. I know that it's being handled by various groups, I guess, but it's major fraud, mortgage documents, and fraudulent everything. I think she said the father was her husband, which she had to have a husband, or so she chose her father, and she put it down, and she had didn't she sign in Virginia? Yet she said she lived in Virginia, yet she's the New York State Attorney General. She did that for tax reasons, so she could take advantage of taxes. And she had the wrong number of units. She had a much different number, which wouldn't have allowed her to qualify and scam the government. So I don't know. I think she's very bad for New York, but I really don't know too much about it. But I appreciate the question. Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Mr. President, I want for you to be convinced that there's no genocide.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Did someone just scream, there is no genocide? What the fuck?
Will be the celebration of Africa Day, which pretty much a lot of celebration will be taking place around the world, including here in the United States. What is your message to the entire African continent, African people, in this important occasion?
Well, I want to see peace, and I want to see happiness. I want to see health, and you have incredible land. There's tremendous value. A lot of countries don't have that value in the land. The value you have. We have a situation. I think you probably heard about it. We've done through some very talented people helped settle a war that's been raging for years, Rwanda and the Congo, and I think we've done it. Believe it or not, I think we've done it. And could you just say a few words about that, my friend?
Yes. A couple of weeks ago, the two parties signed a declaration of principle in which they've agreed on the way forward, and they have both submitted.
Well, that's good that there's been a peace agreement. Hopefully it'll actually last.
Put together one that incorporates both of their suggestions, and we've given it to them. So we're in the process of finalizing.
Looking good, right?
Looking very good.
We have to thank you for even those efforts, because the African continent, particularly SADC, our Southern African Development Community, has for years been seeking to foster peace in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So all efforts, including those from outside the continent and inside the continent, are really worthwhile. We are removing our troops from there so that
Trump's peace to war ratio is insane. Yeah, anything that can get wars to stop is good, in my opinion.
We will really have peace in that area.
Hot take, war bad.
So important for the whole region.
Well, we sent our people there, and I think we did a very good job. I sent it by my friend, and that was great. That was great. I mean, I'm just hearing phenomenal reports, because all I'm hearing is death, and they're chopping heads off, and it's horrible over there. And it was really brave of you to go there, and I really appreciate it. And it looks like we have something very, very substantial. We also talked about trade with them in terms of rare earth and all, but really more for it's like, if you take a look at what we just did with Pakistan and India, we settled that whole thing, and I think I settled it through trade. We're doing a big deal with India, we're doing a big deal with Pakistan, and I said, what are you guys doing? Somebody had to be the last one to shoot, but the shooting was getting worse and worse, bigger and bigger, deeper and deeper into the countries, and we spoke to them, and I hate to say we got it settled, and then 2 days later, something happens, and they say it's Trump's fault. But Pakistan has got some excellent people and some really good, a great leader. And India is my friend Modi, and he's a he's a great guy. And I called them both, and we just something
Look
good.
at me, I'm the
president
president now.
We spoke with President Putin for 2.5 hours the day before yesterday. I think we made a lot of progress, but that's a bloodbath. 5,000 people are being killed a week, 5,000 soldiers a week, not including people in cities and towns that are also being killed. So we're trying to help.
Saw my story through nuts. You're to support.
People,
Thank you, Blue Jew. You're the best.
It's Ukraine and it's Russia, but if we can save 5,000 souls, we'll do it. We're pretty good at it. But that's a bad situation. That is a really bad situation.
Well, you recall when President Zelensky was coming to South Africa, that's when I spoke to you.
That's right.
We both agreed that we need to push the peace message so that there can really be peace. And we've been involved in the Ukraine-Russia conflict for quite a while. Through my Minister of State Security here, we've been dealing with them, the exchange of children who were taken away, going through names and addresses and all that. So we've been invested in that whole process as well. And the moves that you're making are fully supported by us because we would like to see the end of
Rosa, thank you for
Sure, I
those
called
10
Zelensky,
gift
and they
schmeedies.
said,
Thank you.
He's in South Africa. I said, what the hell is he doing in South Africa?
He was talking to
We
us.
got this week. I said, that's a strange one. I said, what are you doing in South Africa?
Yes.
That's a strange one.
He's trying to make peace. We're
He's doing
taking
something.
him. You know, we were lucky because we had the great Nelson Mandela who taught us how to create peace, to make peace. So we were imparting some of those lessons.
Mandela,
Some of those learnings.
Nelson
And I
Mandela taught you how to
specifically
create
that
peace.
This
Yeah,
is how Nelson Mandela.
yeah,
taught
yeah,
us.
buddy.
We want to have peace in the country. Do it on an unconditional basis. Sit down. Talk. And that's precisely
That's like saying, yeah, Vladimir
Well, we'll see what
Putin
happens
has
with that.
created
It's a lot of-
peace in the
there's a lot of
Ukraine.
hatred. There's a lot of,
That's just as
death.
unbelievable as a statement.
I get the satellite pictures of that field, of that killing field. You never saw anything like it in your life. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing that goes on, but I think we've made big progress.
South Africa, South Africa, South Africa.
Yeah, please go ahead. No, not you. Right here.
He's
He's from South Africa. Go ahead, please.
What are you expecting on the ICJ case? Are you expecting South Africa to drop that? Is that what you're trying to
On
reason?
which case?
The ICJ case against Israel?
Criminal justice.
International Criminal Court.
I don't expect anything, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know. It's they've got a case. There's a lot of anger there, tremendous anger. I don't expect anything. We'll see what happens. We'll have a ruling, and who knows what the ruling is going to mean. Yeah.
On that subject of Gaza, Mr. President, are you going to be speaking to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Israel's renewed offensive there? There's been a lot of concern from European countries. The Pope has expressed concern. Are you going to be asking Prime Minister Netanyahu to tone down the offensive in Gaza? To let
I like how he says
Is that a question or
Netanyahu.
These are questions.
This guy's, you never change.
Mr. President, decide what will it take from you for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
What?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's for him.
I'd rather have him answer.
Sure, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
My president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me-
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us around the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So
I brought these white golfers to prove that there's no white farmer genocide in the South Africas. There is no genocide in Ba Sing Se.
it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it.
Sure.
And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things. And
I could show you.
I have to, it has to
I
be
could show you the world.
responded to. Sure. We have, let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down.
Yeah, can
Just
we
put
dim
this
the
on. It's
lights?
right
It's
behind
movie
you.
time.
Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are. Honorable member, can we withdraw my membership from this useless parliament? Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Come on, sir.
You know, it's on 1.5 times speed. Let me slow this down for a second in case you didn't catch what he said about how the killing is part of revolution.
Demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Come on, sir. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. To kill. Come on, sir. Kill the poor, the farmer.
And I just want to like put this in perspective, right? Because like this is something I have known about for probably like at least a decade now. Can you imagine living in a country where a political party that typically wields a decent amount of power has giant gatherings like this on par with, you know, our rallies for our political parties in the US, and the politicians, the people in the party, get up on stage and start chanting for your death because of the color of your skin? And not only are they chanting for your death because of the color of your skin, the people in the audience start chanting along with them. The level of unease and fear that I could only imagine the people there feel is something that I would never be able to comprehend. And this is why I've said, like, I very much understand some of the Boers who want to stay there. They're like, my ancestors were here. I've lived here for generations. This is my family's farmland. I don't want to leave. I get it. I fucking, holy shit, you have giant balls. And I also understand the people who are just like, I don't want to live under this. I'm going to leave. We won't have to imagine that for much longer. It is an incredibly scary thing. And even more so when anyone who talks about it is just called like a far-right white supremacist conspiracy theorist for pointing out something that you can see with your own eyes and hear with your own ears. It's not white supremacy to not want white people to be murdered. Like that is an insane leap in logic. It is not saying that white people are better than other races to not want them to be murdered by political parties supporting it. And poor Afrikaners have jail bars in their houses to keep them safe. Yeah. I have a friend in South Africa. He has a wife and he's got a baby on the way now. But I have a friend there, and back, I can't even remember when it was like 2018 maybe. But when Trump first talked about, like, yeah, he's heard something's been going on in South Africa about like farm murders, and he's gonna have people look into it. My friend broke down crying. Because it was the first time that, like, a major political power, a major world leader acknowledged what was happening in South Africa. Like, he had just been so used to either leaders ignoring it or outright saying it's not happening, that's a far-right white supremacist conspiracy theory, that having Trump speak about it in such a public way was just insane to him.
Is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after
May your friend and his family be safe. Thank you.
Feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched. Don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness. It's shoot, kill, Yamaza, kill the Boer, the farmer.
The president isn't even looking? Yeah, of course he's not, because he knows this is happening.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza, kill the Boer, the farmer, kill the Boer, the farmer.
This part I can't hear. This part's wicked fucking low.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter. They freak out. It sounds like a genocidal
The video is basically saying that they're going to shoot the white farmers with machine guns and they're going to make them run, as essentially what that peaceful song was.
Compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross. And There's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving. They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight.
But remember, Chad, it's not happening. And if you point out that it's happening, you're a dangerous far-right white supremacist who needs to be deplatformed and silenced. And also, you know, it is happening, but it's a good thing, you know, because apartheid. They can't make up their minds.
Never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
Journos are angry because it's not technically a burial site. Yeah, but they're also the ones saying, like, oh, well, actually, saying kill the Boer, kill the farmers, a nuanced call in politics, and it doesn't actually mean what we think it means. It's the party trying to reclaim power from the oppression that they felt under apartheid. These are the same people that were just like, yeah, saying it's okay to be white is actually a far-right white supremacist dog whistle, and I don't feel safe on college campuses with these flyers around. These are not serious people. These are not people talking to you in good faith. You don't hate journalists enough.
Lil Speedboot, thank you for the $100 doodles.
Don't forget, chat, Memorial Day is Monday. Don't forget to pour one out for all the shit cunt.
Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is.
You know where that is, you fucking piece of shit. Because I've never seen this, you fucking liar.
I've never seen. I don't. Okay.
I mean, it's in
It's,
South
it's like the Armenian genocide in real time. It's not happening. I've never seen this.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One. Perhaps
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the correct. Like, what are you talking about? We just showed you a political party calling for the deaths of people based on their skin color, and we just showed you over 1,000 like memorial markers for people who had been murdered. And you're gonna fucking come out and ask about a Qatari jet? You're gonna fucking just ignore everything you've just. I got a question about a Qatari jet. You absolute monstrous piece of shit. You do not deserve to have the job that you do. I don't know who the fuck asked that question, but they need to be kicked out and fired. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck is that? You think you hate journalists, but you have not enough hate in your heart for these slimy, disgusting lizards masquerading as human beings.
The Pentagon's spokesperson.
What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are
it is.
a terrible reporter.
He is a terrible reporter.
You don't have what it takes to be a reporter.
Agreed.
You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated.
Yep.
They are so terrible the way you.
Fucking that guy should put the fries in the fucking bag. How dare you? How dare you ask that kind of shit question after what you were just shown? You will never hate journalists enough.
That network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from me. Go ahead.
No more questions from you.
Go ahead, talk about that.
Please, may we have a South African
His name is
question,
Peter
Mr.
something.
President
He's
Trump?
a terrible.
If they're committing genocide, why invite them to the White House? I'll be quiet.
What? If they're committing genocide, why invite them to the White House? Because they keep denying that it's happening. And if you play the video in front of them while the entire world is watching you talk to them, they can no longer deny it. Everyone will see what is happening with their own eyes. And the only people that will continue to deny it are outright liars who have an investment in making sure people don't believe what's really happening.
That's my question now.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Annika Larson from ENCA in South Africa. Thank you very much for hosting us. What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death.
These are all headlines on deaths of farmers, by the way, deaths of white farmers in South Africa.
I don't know.
But you know that there
Pick
are young
anyone.
people who are
White
dying
South
the most.
Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all. I mean, I'll give these to you.
The Daily Show showed this portion and mocked Trump for it. Yeah, but who the fuck takes the Daily Show seriously? Actually.
When you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
Well, I could do that.
Wait, when will you go and see for yourself that it isn't genocide? Look at what he just showed you on the TV. Look at the articles that he has in his hands. Stop fucking lying. Everyone is sick of it. Normal people are sick of the lies that the media continuously tells. You cannot keep getting away with it.
Burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried.
President Trump.
And he asks about a jet that was given.
My first question is about Africans.
I like how he said that. You ask about a jet that was like, he sounds disgusted, rightfully so.
You are so bad. You're such a bad reporter.
Such a bad person.
May I finish, please, President Trump? Mr. President
This
Trump,
is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can you get a President Trump? Can you give us your reaction to those videos, Mr.
President Trump, could you?
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials.
It's not a genocide because it's not global, as you're sure what the semantics are. I would even hedge it on it's not a genocide because white people aren't actually real. It's a social conditioning, and so therefore you can't commit genocide against white people. Because like that's kind of like the rhetoric we've heard before, right? Like white people aren't real. That's like a social listing, you know. So it's like, okay, all right. You like Kirsche, but she's goddamn insane. Don't stick your dick in crazy.
Saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what it is. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it. But this is a tremendous look. This is story recent. These are all people that recently got killed. Yeah. And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are all and you know the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march. They had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy.
Yet. That is not government policy. Yet.
We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various
I like Kirsche,
policies.
but she's Italian,
And
true.
in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And
I can't remember the number. I don't know if Zenik is here. But when we were going over like the racist like water policies that had been put in place recently, it was talked about how there was like 100 and something race-based policies in South Africa. And we're seeing something similar pop up with like what DEI is. And we don't have the same level of racist policy that South Africa has, and I hope we never get there on any side. I don't want racist policies against anyone of any race in the United States. Zenik is here. He might remember the number, Zenik. 142 laws. Thank you, Zenik. 142 race-based laws in South Africa. Which is an insane fucking number. Insane.
Small minority party. Which
Small
is
minority party of 25%.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
take land. And then when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer...
No. They don't take the land. We just make sure the white farmer can't get enough water for his farmland unless he willingly gives that land to a black South African. That's different.
Nothing happens to them.
No. There is quite...
Nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now...
The farmers are black. The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect.
Isn't the person running bridge from South Africa? Correct. Cheryl Dijja is from South Africa. She is a South African.
To their loved ones that were killed, their heads chopped off, they died violently, and I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally one of the worst, ABC,
yeah, fuck that
NBC,
guy.
CBS, horrible, but if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we
jerk
had
is
real
too nice of a word.
They'd be covering it, but the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they could help us out because we need an Air Force One until...
You love how he talks to the journos? I mean, they deserve less. They deserve way less. He still talks too kindly to them. That's my president. He shows them grace that they do not deserve, and I understand why he does so.
So that's Air Force One. It's being built. 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I'd take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela.
I bet you were.
Whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are problems.
And this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you...
He just gives him the fucking article!
Those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And
did he just get shown about literal race-based murders in his country and then started asking for US technology? Am I taking crazy pills? What the fuck? The audacity of this bitch. What the hell? Give us more money. That'll solve the problem.
We are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges.
Yeah, we need the U.S. technology to not commit race-based violence. What the hell?
I'd like us to discuss it, and of course outside of the media, so that we sit down and have a really good discussion that will lead to good outcomes.
Are there any other further punitive measures that could be in place should you not be satisfied that South Africa is fixing some of the very bad things, in inverted commas, that you tweeted are happening?
Well, there are a lot of bad things happening in many countries, but this in particular has been very, very bad.
Very, very bad.
And because of, we're going to have the whole world watching in another short period of time, because you have the G20, and that's a big deal. And it seems like, I want you to look good. I don't want you to look bad. But we have hundreds of people, thousands of people trying to come into our country because they feel they're going to be killed and their land is going to be confiscated. And you do have laws that were passed that gives you the right to confiscate land for no payment. You can take away land for no payment.
I want to clarify that, because we have a constitution. Our constitution guarantees and protects the sanctity of tenure of land ownership.
Yeah, I just don't believe you,
that
actually.
The Constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership. However, we do say, because we've got to deal with the past, the government, and as your government also has the right to expropriate
6 p.m.
land
Oh no.
for public use.
And you're doing that.
And we've never really gotten underway with that, and we are going to be doing
you're
so.
You're taking people's land
We
away
have not.
from them. And those people, in many cases, are being executed. They're being executed, and they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away, and in many cases those people are being executed, and in many cases it's not the government that's doing it, it's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. So going to Australia in a smaller number. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country, and they're white farmers, and they feel that they're going to die in South Africa, and it's a bad thing. Yeah,
First, what can South Africa do? What concessions would you like to see them make to improve relations?
I don't know, maybe stop killing the farmers, question mark? Like,
well, we just spoke about, I got them a very, very complex machine, 150 of them. And I was asked by the president if it could help, and I did that. And, I have great feeling for all countries. I deal with all countries. But I have a great feeling for South Africa because I have friends. I have a couple of friends, a few friends here today. But I have many friends from South Africa. But many of those friends are not, they can't go back. I have, Elon is from South Africa. I don't want to get Elon involved. That's all I have to do, get him into another thing. But Elon happens to be from South Africa. This is what Elon wanted. He actually came here on a different subject, sending rockets to Mars, okay? He likes that better. He likes that subject better. But Elon is from South Africa.
Send the bowlers to Mars. Have them farm that planet.
I don't think it's fair to him.
That's right.
But I will say that people are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases they're being killed. And that scene of, you see how many crosses they have. Those crosses, that's a dead person in every one of them. And those trucks or cars are paying their respects to all of those dead people on a Sunday morning. That's a rough thing to explain away. And the problem we have, and the way, a correct and a fair media exposes things. But we have a very corrupt media.
Correct.
They won't even report this. If this were the other way around, it would be the biggest story. Now, I will say apartheid, terrible. That was the biggest story. That was reported all the time. This is sort of the opposite of apartheid. what's happening now.
And before The Guardian says there are no bodies in the crosses, somebody earlier said that that's what the news is doing. They're getting upset that Trump is calling them burial sites because they're not burial sites, they're just memorials. The bodies are either not recovered or buried elsewhere, and so they're digging in on his language instead of actually addressing what's going on.
Never reported. Nobody knows about it. All we know is we're being inundated with people, with white farmers from South Africa, and it's a big problem. Marco Rubio was telling me he's never seen anything like it. The numbers of people that want to leave South Africa because they feel they're going to be dead very soon. Yes, please.
I was going to say,
And there's about 20-ish more minutes of like the media asking him questions, but we did watch the most important part where he showed what was happening in South Africa. He showed like with the leader of South Africa there, so it can't be ignored. And we saw the disingenuous media and how they're going to try and ignore this and spin this. So I wanted to go over this a little bit. I know Asman went over it on, I think it was like Wednesday as well when this came out. But it's important to not get gaslit by people who want to keep you quiet and want to censor you by calling you terrible names. It's not white supremacy to acknowledge that white farmers are being unjustly murdered. It's not saying that white people are better than anyone else. It's saying that they don't deserve to be killed simply because of the color of their skin and their occupation. And the people who are invested in saying that you're an extremist or you're far right or you're white supremacist for bringing this up, they are engaging disingenuously. They don't deserve your time. They are ideologically captured and they want you to just shut up about any kind of mistreatment that doesn't fit their worldview and their narrative. Don't let people gaslight you. It's very important to talk about some of these things. President Ramaphosa caught on tape saying land from white South African farmers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation, and it must happen now. Donald Trump should play this video at his next meeting with Ramaphosa and ask him if he still denies that this is happening.
The question of land, the land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation, and it must happen now. The question of...
Yeah, he do be saying that quiet part out loud. He do be saying it. Their forefathers, except the Bantu, arrived literally multiple centuries after the Afrikaners settled it. If somebody earlier said that they wouldn't curse the Martians with having to learn Afrikaner, I don't know about you, but I think the South African accent is nice. I like it. What forefathers? You're the immigrants. Oh my god. Oh my god.